Hi everyone, so today we're going to be looking at the Ricoh GXR A12 camera, and again this is another one of the cameras I'm looking at as an alternative to the Ricoh GR3. This camera is coming up on 12 years old. It was released in 2011. It was part of the Ricoh GXR modular system. So just to quickly display what we mean by modular, there we go. So we have the main camera body here, and then you could buy sort of different sensors and lenses combination, so you have like a series of compact cameras essentially. Just click that back and there we go. So this is the A12, which is a 28 millimeter equivalent lens, so it directly compares to the Ricoh GR3, and it's very much a precursor to what was to come for the Ricoh GR cameras, because up until that point the Ricoh GR digital cameras were all small sensor cameras, and although they had snap focus you could argue wouldn't be the most challenging for a small sensor camera. I think all those cameras are less than either 1/1.7 inch. So yeah, depth of field is not too challenging, and those snap focus is actually quite easy. This was the first large sensor camera, so to actually have the snap focus in them, and it works fantastically well, just as reliable as the Ricoh GR3 itself. Also, now in terms of, you may be saying to yourself, well, like, I haven't really heard of this camera as the Ricoh GR, and the reason is it's not considered a Ricoh GR, even though it really is. It's 28 millimeters, it's pocketable, or probably not jeans pocketable, but still pocketable for jackets, trousers, and it won't take up much space in any camera bag. It's pretty small. But it's not included on Ricoh's site as part of GR line. It's a bit of a gap there. And now I know why that is. It's because it doesn't have the same design aesthetic that the Ricoh GRs would have. And if you read Ricoh's website, it's something that they're quite strict on, that they will never change that overall design aesthetic of the Ricoh GR. Because if you go back even to the first film cameras of the Ricoh GRs, they really haven't changed very much in nearly 30 years. They really are kind of still the same size and shape and overall design. So we understand that, but definitely this is an important camera in the GR history, in that it was very much showing what was to come for the Ricoh GRs. So is this a good alternative to the Ricoh GR3, or compared to the other cameras that we've looked at, so far the Olympus and the Lumix GF9? Well, the answer is it is a good alternative, and probably the advantage over the previous cameras looked at. This is for a very specific tool. This is a street photography camera, whereas the others are general cameras that can be good for street. This is a street photography camera. That's what it's designed for, absolutely. So what would be advantages, if any, over the Ricoh GR3? Well, it actually does have some advantages. If we go for the simpler one, the top plate first, it has a flash built in. Now, I know some people say that's not much of an advantage, but if you're kind of in darker areas in an urban area, like, and you want to pick up graffiti or something, a flash isn't actually always the worst thing to have in terms of lighting up your foreground a bit if it's dark. So that's something that I've used myself on cameras, other street cameras that I've used rather than the Ricoh. So that's something that I find useful. The next thing here is, if we look at the hot shoe, just take that off. You have a look here, there's a socket right there, and then that's for a viewfinder. So the viewfinder isn't brilliant, it's just under 1 million dots. It is over 10 years old, but still it's better than nothing. At least you have the option of an electronic viewfinder, something that you don't have on the more modern Ricoh cameras. As I said before, you just have the option of an optical viewfinder that you put into the hot shoe, which the official Ricoh one is quite expensive, and yeah, it's not. I don't think it's worth it personally. But this one here, unfortunately, the viewfinder, electronic viewfinder, is quite expensive. It's usually around $150 to $200 or euros. I would love to get it, but I probably can't justify it at that price. But it's something I do keep an eye out for. It's also one of those rotating viewfinder as well, so you can like flip it up and like look down and shoot like that as well. So that's something that's very much an advantage. If we turn the camera on here, and good old noisy lenses from the early 2010s and before, if we go to snap focus, now here's the next advantage over the more modern, which is a surprising one. If we look there, so that's our snap focus options, and you'll see here that you have a snap focus option for 3 meters and 3.5 meters. Now the more modern Ricoh cameras go up to 2.5 meters, then there's a jump from 2.5 meters to 5 meters, which is something I think they should really remedy, but it's something that's very useful in this camera. It's something that I use every time I shoot. I usually go 3 meters or 3.5 meters. Because I have an aperture of around f.6, you're going to have everything in focus from around late 2.8, 2.7 meters to infinity. And that's the way I approach it. I just kind of okay. And again, like 2 meters is quite close. I know some people like close street photography, but it is very, very close. Like 3 meters is perfectly fine for most scenarios as a distance away at 28 millimeters. So yeah, I think it's good to have the option of having more snap focus options there as well. And the other, I suppose, smaller option is in the front of the camera. You can see here, it's a 2.5 as opposed to a 2.8 aperture, max aperture. Not a huge advantage, I know, but you know what? I'd rather be slightly brighter than slightly darker, as well. In terms of the performance of the camera, the lens is really sharp, and that's something that like a lot of these Ricoh and Pentax compacts, they had excellent lenses on them, and this is no exception. Great detail, even at 12 megapixels. I suppose the downside of that is that it is now coming up a 12-year-old camera. The ISO performance isn't great, dynamic range isn't great either. For the ISO performance, I wouldn't really go over 1000. The max ISO on this is 3200, but really after 1000 you get a lot of grain. Now I'd say the grain isn't the worst, and the colour noise isn't too bad. There's definitely bigger sensor cameras or more modern cameras that have worse noise in the colours, but you are going to get noticeable image degradation after 1000 ISO. So again, just be aware of that when you're shooting. I usually just have my max ISO set to just over 1000, 1200. Just just give myself a bit of wiggle room. But yeah, definitely something worth considering. Just a quick look over the ergos that we have here. So you can very much see this is a Ricoh style camera. If you look at the top plate, obviously got your Ricoh GR there. You've got your mode dial with the lock. You've got your shutter button nice and close to the top. You've got your on-off switch, hot shoe. Then you've got you've got a dial here as well. Then you've got your second dial for exposure here as well, which also, if you press it, is like a quick menu. Something I'm a really big fan of with these cameras. I think it's excellent that we have that option. You've got your play button here. You've got a macro, which I don't think works in this, but works in some of the other cameras. You've got a zoom rocker there, which works in playback mode in this, but is for the other modules that have zoom lenses in them. And you've got your display down there. You've got a timer here as well, and then you've got your menu button and function 1 and 2, which, by the way, a lot of these can be customized as well, which is really very good. So yeah, all around an excellent camera. It is going to be more expensive than the other cameras I reviewed so far. Both those cost me €100, €100, give or take. Now I bought this as a big batch, so I actually got a super good deal. I bought this and 3 other modules, including the M-mount module and the A16, just 16 megapixels in, for just under €300. It was about 17,000 peso from Camera House here in Manila. That was a Black Friday deal. You'd be very hard pushed to find that deal now. From what I've seen currently on eBay, you could probably get the body and this module, although I rarely see them together for sale, it's always separately. But if you bought the two separately, you're looking at around $300-ish. Now that is more expensive than the cameras that we covered, but it is a specialist street camera. And if you want the experience of shooting a GR camera, now I know it's officially not a GR camera, but it really is in terms of its design DNA. In terms of like how the ergos work and how it works operationally. Maybe not the looks, but certainly the operational design. You're going to be hard pushed to find a cheaper alternative, because I know you might think that the Ricoh GR film cameras and the Ricoh GR digital cameras, which are the smaller sensor cameras, might be cheaper, but I'm afraid to tell you that they're not. The film cameras can be quite expensive. I've seen them go for as much as $600-700, minimum $400. The Ricoh GR digital cameras now, sometimes you see them in the 200s, but a lot of the time in eBay it'll be in the 3 and 400s also. And the more modern GR cameras, the GR1, 2 and 3, second hand you might see it for 600-700 on the 1 or 2 and 3. They tend to hold their value quite well, the Ricoh GR cameras. And because this isn't really considered, for better or worse, a GR camera, you might be able to get it cheaper, and you'll have something that's got much better image quality than the Ricoh GR digital cameras as well. And for street, perfectly good camera to use. Anyway, that's all from me for today. I'll leave you with a couple of pictures I took last weekend with this camera, and as always, thanks for watching. Bye now. So I'm out with the Ricoh GXR with the 28mm GR lens on it. This is kind of like the precursor to the sort of modern GRs in my opinion. Not quite as small, but I'm going to shoot today and have some fun.